Welcome on lads and let's welcome back to the KingMagna channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from Patrick CC, who is personally one of my favourite video essayists, right behind Turkey Tom and maybe Toastify, because Toastify is a bit underrated, but I love him so much. And this video is basically about the world's biggest Nepo baby, that being Jaden Smith. Like, this dude is the right level of just annoying and arrogant that you'd expect from a celebrity's child. Like, honestly, this dude is actually insufferable to listen to. I'm going to play the video for you now. So yeah, this video does come from Patrick CC, so shout out to this dude's channel. And yeah, I'm going to try and add as much as I can. I don't really know too much about Jaden Smith, I just know that he's really annoying. I remember he was in that film from ages ago I bought as well. I think it was like his first film he was in, and he was terrible. It was absolutely awful. So, with all this diarrhea, let's just get straight into it.
What you are about to see is a 20-second clip that made Jaden Smith the laughingstock of the internet.
Because I was picking up more things from adults than I were from kids my own age. And I look, and I go around sometimes, and I hang out with other people that are my age, and they're just kind of just, selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now? Can we talk about what's going on?
Shut up! No, just
however, people
cringy,
choose to ignore the very
Goofy.
important context stated right before that cringy clip.
Put me, like, they would be having a meeting about their next film or something, and they would put me at the head of the table and just make me sit there while they're talk and debate with all these people, talk numbers, talk crazy stuff.
Jaden says he spent more time with adults than children during his youth. He would spend his free time in very important business meetings with his mother and father, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, discussing serious business matters that he barely understood at the time. Now,
looking back on hindsight, like, with that clip as well, after the whole smacking incident and this one not becoming the nicest of people, it's like, how did you, like, have a child that didn't end up just, like, blowing their brains out? How have they managed to, like, create something that isn't the world's most awful thing ever? Like, we know Jaden Smith's not the nicest. He's a bit of a weirdo, okay? But, like, shout out to him for just not being the world's most insufferable, annoying thing in the world. I mean, some people probably would describe him
Jaden's
like
parents never told him no. They allowed him to do anything and everything his heart desired, hoping that it would deepen and strengthen their relationship. They designed a meticulous, calculated plan for Jaden to be born and raised a superstar, and it ended in disaster. By age 15, he wanted to be emancipated from them, got blacklisted from Hollywood, and is hated by everyone on the internet. Most people's first introduction to Jaden was in 2006 during his film debut in the biographical drama The Pursuit of Happiness. Most young actors start with minor roles to help build their resumes. Jaden's father thought it would be best for his 7-year-old son to join a $55 million budget feature film alongside his dad, but the film producers did not want Jaden as the co-star. The film is inspired by the true story of Chris Gardner, a San Francisco salesman struggling to build a future for himself and his 5-year-old son Christopher. When his girlfriend walks out, Chris is left to raise Christopher on his own. In a movie that centers on a father's relationship with his son, it makes sense to cast an actual father-son duo, and many would argue the decision paid off with the heartfelt film. However, casting Jaden was not a straightforward decision. In fact, he still had to audition, just like other young actors in contention for the part. In his memoir titled Will Smith explained that director Gabrielle Muccino was having trouble casting the role of Christopher Jr., having auditioned close to 500 child actors. Around that time, Jaden began expressing interest in acting, so Will and Jada consented to their son auditioning for the role. Although Muccino wanted Jaden to portray Christopher Jr., there was some pushback. Will wrote that the Pursuit of Happiness director told him, "I wanted Jaden for this role from the first moment I met him, but the studio forbade me from asking you." The studio felt like it was a death sentence for the film from a marketing standpoint. They felt like people wouldn't be able to suspend disbelief seeing Jaden and you on camera as father and son. The studio
I don't know why though, that makes sense, having a father-son duo play a father-son.
Also feared their decision would appear as favoritism and preferential treatment, with people crying out nepotism. Finally, Jaden was allowed a screen test alongside Will, which led to Jaden auditioning a total of 9 times, which is very uncommon. The studio simply didn't want the problems that came along with casting him, but audition after audition, in all of his innocent 6-year-old glory, he proved himself the right actor for the role. Many people question if Jaden actually proved himself, or if his father was so steadfast on him securing the role that eventually the studio just gave in. But it really didn't matter, because the film was a hit. Their natural father-son dynamic helped the film gross over $300 million at the worldwide box office, with both Will and Jaden receiving several award nominations. Jaden says his parents never pressured or expected him to follow in their footsteps. However, he did grow up with a camera in his face. Now, a lot of parents made home videos with their kids, but maybe Will put a little extra focus on it.
My dad would just film me and my sister.
Oh.
And we would make Trade Tricks, Matrix spin-off.
It's not uncommon for celebrities' children to follow the same career path, and he landed another substantial role in the sci-fi film The Day the Earth Stood Still, before securing a surprise guest appearance on The Sweet Life of
How
Zack
many
and
films
Cody.
did he do?
Now imagine
I thought his
every
first film was
random
like,
idea you had as a child. If you were Will Smith's son, he would pour thousands
know
of
what it's
dollars
called.
into whatever your heart desired at that moment. At 10 years old, Jaden wanted to start a water company. Just water. My man. When I was a kid, I kept seeing discarded water bottles on the ground everywhere, and the amount of waste blew me away. I told my parents that I was passionate about reducing our carbon footprint. For the next 7 years, they developed a planet-friendly water bottle that uses 82% renewable material. Just Water wouldn't be available to the public until 2015. As of 2019, the company has sold its water in stores over 10 countries and over 15,000 retail stores in North
I
America.
didn't even know that was their
And they
thing.
still haven't given me a sponsorship, which makes me extra grateful for today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Even on the NFL wanted to make an impact on the world, his privilege undoubtedly gave him a sense of superiority. He seemingly forgot that his parents' money funded his business ventures, meaning he didn't need an education like others. He once famously tweeted, "If everybody in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society." Jaden was homeschooled by his
doesn't sound
parents in the
right.
beginning because his father wanted his kids by his side when he was filming movies. "My kids being with me is of a higher value than sitting in a classroom." Then in 2009, Will and Jada opened
I don't know about
New
that
Village
either.
Leadership Academy, a private elementary school in Calabasas, California.
Let's go back. Do you know when he said like having his kids next to him meant more than the school? That's not how school works. It's not about the parents being happy. It's about the children learning, mainly.
Schooled by his parents in the beginning because his father wanted his kids by his side when he was filming
It just seems selfish.
movies.
I understand
My
going to like
kids
a
being
private
with
school
me
or
is of a
something.
higher value than sitting in a classroom.
Yeah, but Will Smith isn't sitting in a classroom. Why does he make it? It makes it sound like he's just like sat in a classroom with them. That's so stupid.
Then in 2009, Will and Jada opened New Village Leadership Academy, a private elementary school in Calabasas, California. Jaden and his sister Willow enrolled at the academy once it was up and operating. According to ABC News, classes consisted of yoga, karate, robotics, technology, math, literacy, Spanish, art, and living skills. As Jaden grew older, he used social media to express his views regarding traditional education.
We're preparing everybody to go to prison through the schools.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, the people that are not doing good in the
Bro,
grades,
people
oh,
say
you're doing
this,
like
bro.
this, oh, you went to the detention, da-da-da-da. There's too many correlations between public schools and prisons.
Jaden has been crowned the king of
Yeah.
I'm 14 and this is deep. Pretty much everyone that has experienced the American education system knows it's not setting us up to be successful multimillionaires. And maybe, in theory, the New Village Leadership Academy style of learning could be much better for the youth. The problem is that the school cost $22,000 per year to attend and was closed due to parents learning their child's curriculum was steeped in Scientology. So when Jaden says things like, "School is the tool to brainwash the youth," and
Oh, it's
"education is rebellion," it kind of just comes off as a rich boy who had all the resources to be successful and thinks anyone
Yeah,
could do it as
basically.
long as they put their mind to it and work hard.
I'm sure
However,
they
in
worked
2010,
really hard
Jaden
for
would
that.
hit his career peak when he starred in the remake of The Karate Kid, a role that catapulted him to global superstardom. As you can imagine, this was Will Smith's idea. Jaden said, "My dad had the idea, and everybody knows in our house that my dad's a little crazy." Okay, he's very crazy. But you know, when he said this, we were like, "Are you sure?" And then we were like, "Alright, we're going to listen to you because you're the guy." Little did Jaden know that just blindly listening to his father would eventually lead to disaster. Jaden took the spotlight while his parents took on producer roles, overseeing the film under their production company, Overbrook Entertainment. This film would change a lot of the most iconic parts of the original. Ralph Macchio's 1984 Karate Kid depicts a boy from New Jersey who moves to a California town. For Jaden's Dre Parker in the remake, he's not just the new kid in town. He experiences an unimaginable culture shock when his mother's job forces them to move from Detroit to China. The main character in both adaptations develops animosity towards the class bully and must learn how to defeat him. However, the famous wax-on, wax-off scenes are replaced with a new learning system centered around putting a jacket on and taking it off, hanging it up and taking it down. Karate, which originated in Okinawa, Japan, is replaced with Chinese Kung Fu. Jerry Weintraub,
say,
the
isn't-
original series producer, insisted on using the well-known title even though the film contains no karate. He briefly contemplated changing the title to The Kung Fu Kid before deciding otherwise. Jackie
Kung
Chan
Fu
portrays
Kid.
Parker's instructor, Mr. Han, a maintenance man, and secret Kung
That's a
Fu
way funnier
master who
title.
trains
I
Parker to
prefer the idea of the Kung Fu Kid. I think we should actually just make that a film. That sounds like some like Chinese knockoff, which I mean, to be fair, it literally is. So that's spot on.
The bullies at an upcoming kung fu tournament. Having Jackie Chan as the main character meant this film was destined for success. Chan is so widely respected in China that they got production benefits that nobody else could. The Chinese government reportedly agreed to let filming take place at the Great Wall of China, the Forbidden City, and the Wudang Mountains. Then Jaden was given the opportunity to collaborate with the biggest pop star in the world, Justin Bieber, for the Karate Kid theme song, adding to the seemingly never-ending list of advantages Jaden had. Never Say Never featured a rap verse from Jaden. This was the first song he ever recorded. The single reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Today, Never Say Never has been certified 5 times platinum and accumulated over a billion views on YouTube. The Karate Kid, released in summer of 2010, received positive reviews from critics and grossed over $359 million globally. Nonetheless, the film's success reinforced Jaden's position as a rising star in Hollywood. He was paid a reported salary of $1 million as an upfront fee, but received an additional $2 million bonus after the film was released. Will Smith carefully shaped his son's career up until this point.
How is he not like a megastar? At that point, he got a song that's got over 1 billion streams. Honestly, Jimmy, I know this is just me because I've always wanted to be like that, but it's like, I would take that and like run with it. I'd grab that baton and I'd sprint as much as I could. That's so wild to me. That's so insane. Like, anytime I hear of like Jaden Smith, I just immediately think of every single cringy thing he does. But bro had like, when he was younger, he had a banging life. I don't know what happened. That's so sad.
He was now 12, a global superstar, and basically had a perfect resume. But all of that was about to come crashing down. In 2013, Jaden appeared alongside his father Will in the post-apocalyptic action film After Earth. This was intended to be the first installment of a new franchise. Will intended to launch a multimedia franchise titled 1000 AE. The original plan was that After Earth would be followed by a sequel, then a live-action television series, an animated television series, webisodes, a video game, consumer products, theme park attractions, documentaries, comics, an educational program collaboration in partnership with NASA, cologne and perfume lines, and a social media platform, with Jaden being the face of it all. Will created a plan to essentially turn Jaden into Mickey Mouse, a ubiquitous character that can be milked for billions of dollars through licensing. Once Jaden realized he was just a pawn for his father's billion-dollar business, he tried to exit his own family. After Earth is a film set in a distant future where Earth has become uninhabitable due to environmental catastrophe, and humans have resettled on a new planet called Nova Prime. After Earth centers on General Cypher Rage, played by Will Smith, and his son Katai, played by Jaden Smith. Cypher is a legendary military commander known for his ability to ghost, which means he can suppress his fear and become invisible to the alien creatures called Ursa that now threaten humanity. On the other hand, Katai struggles to live up to his father's expectations and lacks the emotional control necessary to ghost. Cypher is critically injured when their spaceship crash lands on Earth, and Katai must embark on a perilous journey to retrieve a rescue beacon that can signal for help. The film primarily focuses on Katai's survival and personal growth as he faces numerous dangers and overcomes his fears. After Earth, through a generic and uncompelling plot, came off as a passion project that potentially reflected Will and Jaden's real-life relationship. The reflection being that Jaden wasn't nearly as talented as his father and needed to desperately work on his craft to be mentioned in the...
I mean, I'm not going to try, glaze Jaden, but it's like, I can't remember him actually being a terrible actor in any of the films he was in. Like, I genuinely can't remember him being awful. I don't know if it's because I was too young to actually remember, but I just remember him being like, he's alright. He's a child actor, but child actors are never good. There's literally no good child actors. They always sound like shit. So I don't know. I would cut him slack there, but some people probably wouldn't. But, that's just me.
The same breath. Perhaps the most ironic part about this film is that it's too realistic. Cypher holds his son's hand while guiding him to success, instead of allowing Katai to find his own path, which is exactly what happened in real life between Will and Jaden. Cypher's demanding expectations and Katai's desire to prove himself create tension within their relationship that evolves as the story progresses. This same tension is reflected in Will and Jaden's relationship months after the film's release. Critics felt that Jaden was handed the opportunity due to his family's connections rather than his acting abilities, which was completely true. Another concern surrounding the film was elements of Scientology, a controversial religion to which the Smith family has been loosely associated with. Despite the star power of Will Smith, After Earth underperformed at the box office. It did not meet the financial expectations set by the studio, leading to financial losses and disappointment for all involved. Although the film made over $243 million on a $130 million budget, the production budget doesn't include the marketing, which cost roughly $100 million. This meant the film's total budget stood somewhere around $230 30 million, and not to mention the empire that was supposed to be built around it. To add insult to injury, the film received 6 Golden Raspberry Award nominations, with Jaden winning Worst Actor, Will winning Worst Supporting Actor, and together winning Worst Screen Combo. Will abandoned his multi-billion-dollar franchise plan and admitted that this destroyed his relationship with Jaden. After Earth was an abysmal box office and critical failure, Will wrote in his memoir, and what was worse was that Jaden took the hit. Fans and the press were absolutely vicious. They said and printed things about Jaden that I refused to repeat. Jaden had faithfully done everything that I'd instructed him to do, and I'd coached him into the worst public mauling he'd ever experienced. We never discussed it, but I knew he felt betrayed, he felt misled, and he lost his trust in my leadership. And Will wasn't lying about the public humiliation. Jaden was eviscerated. South Park made fun of him.
Jaden Smith lets his parents do whatever they want. You know what? The guys at work, they took a bet on who would win in a fight, you or Jaden Smith, and they all said Jaden Smith could kick your ass.
Key and Peele also made fun of him.
I mean, it's hard being Will Smith's son. I just want to make sure my next project reflects that I'm a down-to-earth, normal kid. Am I making any sense?
Not to mention the endless articles and tweets that were being thrown at him every day. All of Jaden's success at this point was because of Will, Pursuit of Happiness, The Karate Kid, even Just Water, which was started with Will's money. Jaden blindly followed his dad because what child wouldn't trust their dad? Plus, it was working. There was an immense pressure to fulfill his dad's vision to become a billion-dollar franchise, and he performed to the best of his capabilities, only for it all to come crashing down and have the world blame Jaden and not Will. Jaden was ruined, angry, and asked his parents if he could be emancipated. Emancipation is a legal process that frees a child who is between...
Alright. She's joining us for the actions again. We have 2 people now watching this. Let's just get through it.
Between the ages of 14 to 17 from the custody and control of their parent or guardian. His parents were heartbroken, but they understood why. They realized it was because of their mistakes that their son didn't feel normal. He ultimately decided to not be emancipated, but he started to pursue a life and career on his own terms. However, this would make people hate him even more. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? If newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth. I should just stop tweeting. The human consciousness must raise before I speak my juvenile philosophy. Jaden feeling like he is this profound philosopher that the world can't understand obviously comes off as extremely pretentious. But he was 14 years old at this point and was finally coming up with his own thoughts, ideas, creations, instead of his parents shaping them for him. In an interview with GQ, he said, "Me and Willow are scientists, so everything for us is a scientific test upon humanity." He even compared himself to the scientific pioneer Galileo. At least now the criticism and bullying Jaden was receiving was because of his own thoughts and ideas and not his father's. He embraced the memes in this video. Jaden Smith reads mind-blowing facts about the universe.
The human brain takes in 11 million bits of information every second, but is aware only of 40. In an average lifetime, human skin completely replaces itself 900 times. You see your nose all the time. Your brain just chooses to ignore it.
He did become somewhat of a fashion trendsetter. Jaden is known for his androgynous fashion style. He frequently wears clothing that blurs the lines between traditional men's and women's fashion, incorporating elements like skirts, dresses, oversized clothing, and bold patterns. In 5 years, when a kid goes to school wearing a skirt, he won't oversized clothing and bold
I think I used to have a lunchbox that looked like that. Like a little house. That's
patterns.
So funny.
In 5 years, when a kid goes to school wearing a skirt, he won't get beat up, and kids won't get mad at him. He even wore outfits like a white Batman suit to prom, the Met Gala, and Kim and Kanye's wedding, but this continued to get him bullied by haters. His tweet stating that Tyler the Creator was his boyfriend just added more fuel to the fire. Their alleged relationship was never confirmed nor denied, but his ambiguity inspired many people.
What is that? I remember that,
the
but
relationship was
what was that whole thing about? I couldn't tell if it was like either like because I don't think it ever actually happened. I couldn't tell if like Jaden was just going psycho and he actually thought that Tyler was his boyfriend, or it was actually like just
never
lying
confirmed
marketing.
nor denied, but his ambiguity inspired many people around the world. Every new venture seemed to give his haters more material to use against him, but that changed with his album Sire, which even his biggest opposers admit was pretty good. While the lyrics still feel like his signature "I'm 14 and this is deep" style, the production is a 10 out of 10.
There was a song
no
I remember
exaggeration,
really
this is one of the best produced melodic hip-hop albums of the 2010s. The most prominent single on the project was Icon, which despite not charting on the Billboard Hot 100, it did go 2 times platinum in the United United States, while the music video accumulated over 184 million views on YouTube.
I
And this
can't
track is
remember at
nothing
all.
short of a banger. Many people criticize him for calling himself an icon.
I think what it means to be an icon is being
I
able
can't remember
to
at
take
all.
extreme
I remember
amounts of
listening
hate.
to
The
it
only
not
reason
too
that
long
they
ago.
receive that hate is because they do things
Is that his own team? Literally,
Following
he's on
Sire,
his
Jaden
t-shirt.
released Eerie's in 2019, an album that delved into darker themes and
it-
explored a
whoa,
more
what'd you call it?
experimental
I can't
sound.
remember. Is it
Nobody
that
wants
one?
to feel bad for a kid that was
I
born
can't
in the
remember. Which one is it,
0.001%
dog?
of society.
Which one is it?
He has attempted to
Oh,
use
shit,
his
stop
own
doing that,
status as
man.
Will Smith's son as a disadvantage. If I were white and not Will Smith's
Stop putting my-
silly
you're on my
son, I would be
headphones.
the most
Get off.
respected philosopher of our and all
Go on,
time.
go on off-
I
go
always
off-
knew
no,
no one was
okay,
going
stop
to
doing it.
understand me. I felt about life differently than other kids. I could tell by the way
Try
they
to do
treated
a
me.
reaction
It is
video.
hard to live in the shadow of someone else. Jaden's biggest failures are by trusting his dad's vision. Some of Jaden's worst takes are from the perspective of a teenager trying to develop his own uniqueness.
That's
He just
true.
did it in front of the whole world. As he got older, he extended his privilege onto others.
That is kind of true. I feel like everyone's been a bit that level of cringe at one point. It's just that we don't have the public platform that he has. Like, God knows, I used to be a very cringy boy. If you don't remember, I used to have ginger dreadlocks. Yeah, exactly. We've all had patches that we'd rather forget about. It's just his was all, publicised.
His long list of charitable endeavors includes Misfits Rep, the sustainable and eco-friendly fashion brand which promotes ethical manufacturing processes and the use of sustainable materials. The Water Box, a filtration system that helps provide clean water nationwide. He also opened a mobile restaurant where homeless people can eat for free. I Love You, launched in 2019, started as a vegan food truck where Jaden aimed to provide free, healthy, sustainable meals to the homeless community in Los Angeles' Skid Row
It's also
area.
vegan.
He may have been a cringe Nepo baby, but it seems like he at least uses it to do some good in the world. Plus, nothing
Yeah.
Jaden has ever said or done will be more embarrassing than the public humiliation Will Smith has been subject to over the past few years.
Yeah, that's spot on. To be fair, absolutely spot on. Yeah, for all I could add to this is that it's definitely true. The only other Nepo baby that I think is probably worse is David Beckham. What's his son's name? Whatever his son's name is, I just remember David Beckham's son is 10 times cringier. I might do some sort of reaction to some of his stuff or a commentary on it because it is insanely goofy. But yeah, that was an incredible video for Patrick CC. If you're not subscribed to him already, I definitely would. He's an amazing creator. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in another video.